My thoughts about her but slipped out. Her response was beyond belief. Evan Hale had trained himself to stay calm in strange situations. That was part of being a human linguist in deep space. He had learned to keep his face neutral when aliens argued in sounds that hurt human ears. He had learned not to react when creatures with too many eyes stared at him without blinking. He had learned to breathe slowly when gravity shifted or lights changed color for no clear reason. But no amount of training had prepared him for the moment his own thoughts betrayed him. The diplomatic chamber of Station Helix 9 was quiet, filled with soft blue light. Representatives from 6 different species stood or floated in their assigned areas. Some breathed gas, some needed warmth, some needed silence. The station adjusted constantly to keep everyone alive and comfortable. At the center of the chamber stood Ambassador Tikara. She was not human. Her species, the Krell, were tall and powerfully built. Their bodies were smooth and strong, designed by evolution for high-gravity worlds. Their posture showed balance and control, every movement slow and precise. Evan's job was simple in theory: listen, translate, and stay out of trouble. His translation implant rested behind his ear, warm against his skin. It filtered alien sounds into English and turned his English back into something others could understand. Usually it worked perfectly. Usually. Ambassador Tikara stepped forward to speak. Her voice came out as a deep vibration that the implant turned into clear words. "We acknowledge the human presence," she said. "We wish to understand your intentions." Evan nodded and prepared his response. He had said similar words dozens of times on other stations. But as she moved, his tired brain made a stupid, harmless, private observation. It was not attraction. It was not desire. It was simply surprise at how different her body structure was compared to humans, how the Krell carried their strength in their lower body to survive crushing gravity. A passing thought, nothing more, and then his implant failed. Evan opened his mouth to speak the prepared diplomatic response. Instead, the station speakers translated his private thought out loud. "Her lower body is incredibly strong. That build could survive forces that would crush a human." The words echoed through the chamber. Silence fell like a physical weight. Evan froze. Every species reacted differently. The avian delegate's feathers flared. The insectoid representative clicked in alarm. The aquatic envoy pulled back into its water chamber. The human security team stiffened, hands moving closer to their equipment. Evan felt his heart slam against his ribs. Oh no. He tried to speak again, to explain, to apologize, but no sound came out. His implant had shut itself down entirely. Ambassador Tikara did not move. She stared at Evan with her dark, reflective eyes. Seconds passed. Then she did something no one expected. She tilted her head slightly. "Repeat," she said calmly. The chamber erupted in quiet panic. Human command officers began sending urgent messages to Evan's wrist display, warning him not to say anything more. Other species whispered among themselves, their translators buzzing softly. Evan swallowed. He could feel sweat forming on his neck. I apologize," he said slowly, speaking without the implant now. "That statement was not intended to be spoken. It was an error." The human commander took a step forward. "Ambassador Tikara, the human delegate?" She raised one hand. The commander stopped instantly. The Krell ambassador's gaze never left Evan. "You observed my form," she said, "and you spoke the truth of it without strategy." Evan blinked. Yes, but it was a mistake." "Mistakes reveal nature," Tikara replied. The chamber grew colder as the station adjusted to rising stress levels. Among the Krell, body language was everything. Humans knew that much. What they did not know was that Krell culture had no concept of casual observation. To the Krell, to comment on physical structure was to acknowledge strength, purpose, and survival value. It was a serious act. Tikara turned slightly, addressing the council. "The human has engaged in unfiltered recognition." Gasps rippled through the chamber. Evan had no idea what that meant, but it sounded very bad. The insectoid delegate buzzed sharply. "That right is forbidden to outsiders." The avian envoy flapped its wings in agitation. "It implies challenge or bond." The human commander stepped forward again. "Ambassador, if there has been a misunderstanding." "There has been clarity," Tikara interrupted. She faced Evan fully now. "Human Evan Hale," she said. "Did you intend deception?" Evan shook his head quickly. "No, humans, we make mental notes without meaning harm." "I meant no offense." "Offense is irrelevant," she said. "Intent is everything. She studied him carefully, as if scanning not his body but his mind. You thought without planning, she continued. You spoke without defense. That is rare, the council murmured. Most species in the galaxy survived through careful social control. Words were chosen like weapons. Truth was shaped, hidden, or delayed. Raw honesty was dangerous. Evan finally found his voice. Ambassador, I am truly sorry if my words caused harm. They caused none, Tikara said. That surprised everyone. She turned to the council again. The human displays a trait we believed extinct, unshielded cognition. The aquatic envoy's voice echoed from its tank. Impossible. Any species without mental filters would collapse socially. Yet humans endure, Tikara said. Her eyes returned to Evan. You endure chaos, she said softly. Internally. Evan did not know whether to feel proud or terrified. Security alerts flashed across the chamber. Krell escorts entered silently, positioning themselves near Evan, not aggressively but firmly. The human commander protested. You cannot detain him without cause, Tikara nodded. He is not detained, he is acknowledged. That did not sound better. Human Evan Hale, she said, by speaking an unguarded truth, you have invoked an ancient response. You will accompany us for clarification. Evan's mouth went dry. What kind of clarification? He asked. Tikara paused. The kind that decides whether humanity is dangerous, she said, or essential. The chamber erupted into noise. Evan allowed himself to be guided away, his thoughts racing. All of this, because one thought slipped out. As the doors closed behind him, he realized something chilling. The Krell were not angry, they were interested. And that, Evan suspected, might change everything humans thought they knew about the galaxy. Evan Hale walked down the corridor without resistance, but his mind was anything except calm. The Krell escorts moved beside him in silence. They were tall and solid, their steps slow and heavy, as if the station floor barely noticed their weight. Their presence felt controlled, not threatening, but Evan knew better than to relax. Humans had learned one rule about alien diplomacy. Evan's translation implant was still inactive, leaving the symbols meaningless. One of the Krell placed a hand on the wall. The door opened without sound. Inside was a circular chamber, empty except for a single raised platform in the center. The air felt thicker here, heavier, pressing gently against Evan's skin. This is not a prison, Ambassador Tikara said from behind him. Evan turned, surprised. He had not heard her enter. Then what is it? He asked. A place of assessment, she replied. The door closed behind them. Evan swallowed. Assessment of what? Tikara walked toward the center platform. Her movements were slow, measured, like each step carried meaning. Truth, she said simply. Evan had expected threats. Interrogation, maybe punishment. Truth had not been on the list. Tikara gestured for him to step onto the platform. Evan hesitated, then obeyed. The surface was warm beneath his boots. Lights rose around the chamber, forming a faint circle around him. You are not in danger, she said. If you were, this chamber would already know. That did not make him feel better. What exactly did I do? Evan asked. From your perspective. Tikara studied him. You spoke a thought before shaping it. Yes, Evan said quickly. That was a mistake. Humans think constantly. Not all thoughts are meant to be shared. That is precisely why this matters, she replied. She touched a panel near the platform. A low hum filled the room. This chamber measures internal conflict, Tikara said. Most species experience little difference between thought and speech. Their minds are aligned. Evan frowned. Humans are? No, she agreed. Humans are not. The hum deepened. Evan felt a faint pressure in his head, not painful, just strange. What's it doing? He asked. Observing, she said, not reading thoughts, measuring contradiction. Evan let out a nervous laugh. Then you'll find plenty. Araz's lips curved slightly. We already have. On the far side of the chamber, a translucent display formed. Lines moved across it, shifting and crossing in complex patterns. What am I looking at? Evan asked. A visual map of your internal processing, she replied. Evan stared. The lines never stopped moving. That's bad, isn't it? For us, Tikara said, it is unthinkable. She explained as the chamber continued its scan. The Krell evolved on a world where misunderstanding meant death. Their bodies were built for strength, but their minds were built for clarity. A thought formed fully before it was ever allowed to exist. Emotional reactions were processed, filtered, and aligned with logic before becoming action. To the Krell, Evan's mind looked like a storm. Thoughts overlapped. Emotions clashed with reason. Ideas formed, broke, and reformed in seconds. And you function like this constantly? T-Kara asked. Evan shrugged. Most humans do, some worse than others. That should cause paralysis, she said. It doesn't, Evan replied. We just choose anyway. That made her pause. Choose, she repeated. Yes, Evan said. Even when we're unsure, even when we're afraid. The display shifted, highlighting several patterns. You experience fear and proceed, T-Kara said. You experience doubt and speak. You experience contradiction and act. That's life, Evan said quietly. T-Kara turned to face him fully. For many species, she said, that would be insanity. Evan met her gaze. For us, it's normal. The chamber hummed again. A new figure appeared on the display, simpler, smoother. This is a Krell mind, T-Kara explained. The difference was clear. Clean lines, no overlap, no chaos. You never question yourselves? Evan asked. We question outcomes, she said, not identity. Evan thought about that. Humans question everything, he said, even ourselves. That answer seemed to interest her. Outside the chamber, the council argued. Human commanders demanded Evan's release. Other species demanded explanation. Some demanded punishment. None of them were allowed inside. The council fears you, T-Kara said, as if reading the room beyond the walls. Evan laughed weakly. They really shouldn't. They should, she replied, but not for the reason they believe. She deactivated the scan. The hum faded. You did not insult me, she said. You acknowledged function without intent to manipulate. I was just thinking out loud, Evan said. That is what concerns us, she replied. She stepped closer. Humans possess uncontrolled honesty, she said, not as policy, as accident. Evan nodded. That sounds right. In diplomacy, T-Kara continued, accidents shape history. She turned away, considering something. There is an ancient Krell protocol, she said, used only when encountering a mind that does not fit known categories. Evan's chest tightened. And what does that protocol do? It tests whether the chaos can be trusted, she said. Evan took a breath. How? By placing you where deception is expected, she replied. That sounded worse than the chamber. You want me to negotiate? Evan asked. Yes, but I'm terrible at that, he said. I just proved it. Exactly, T-Kara said. She activated another display. It showed symbols representing multiple species. These delegates rely on layers of meaning, she said. Half-truth, strategic silence, masked intent. She looked at Evan. You do not. Evan frowned. I try, I'm just bad at it. That may be your strength, she said. Evan thought about the times humans had survived against stronger enemies. Not because they were perfect, but because they adapted, improvised, and kept going even when things broke, including themselves. What happens if I fail? He asked. T-Kara did not answer immediately. Then humanity will be categorized as unpredictable and unsafe, she said finally. Evan felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. And if I succeed? Then the galaxy will need to rethink what intelligence looks like, she said. The door behind them opened. Krell guards waited outside, along with a human officer whose face showed pure confusion. T-Kara faced Evan one last time. You spoke a thought you were never meant to share, she said. That era revealed a species that survives its own disorder. She inclined her head slightly. Prepare yourself, Evan Hale, she said. Your honesty is about to be tested. As Evan stepped out of the chamber, one thing became clear. Humanity's greatest weakness, its messy, emotional, unfiltered mind, was about to stand trial before the galaxy. And this time there would be no implant failure to blame. Evan Hale stood outside the council chamber and wished, for the first time in his career, that he was better at lying. The doors in front of him were tall and heavy, carved with symbols from many species. Beyond them waited the most powerful political group in known space. Every word spoken inside could shift borders, start wars, or end alliances. And Evan was about to walk in without his translation implant. A human officer adjusted Evan's jacket nervously. You don't have to do this, she whispered. Command is still arguing. Evan shook his head. They won't stop it, and if they do, it won't help. She studied his face. You're not trained for this kind of pressure. Evan gave a small smile. Neither was humanity once. The doors opened. The council chamber was massive, shaped like a wide circle so no one stood above another. Each species occupied a section designed for their needs: air, water, heat, silence. At the center stood a simple platform. That was for Evan. As he stepped forward, the room grew quiet. Hundreds of eyes, some human, some very much not focused on him. Whispers passed through the chamber. That's him. Ambassador Tikara stood across from him, calm and still. "This session is now in evaluation mode," she announced. "No translation devices will be used by the human delegate." The room reacted immediately. "That's unacceptable," said the avian envoy. "He will misunderstand," said another. "He will expose us," hissed the insectoid representative. "That is the purpose," Tikara replied. Evan cleared his throat. His voice echoed slightly. "I understand basic trade language," he said. "If I don't understand something, I'll ask." That caused another wave of murmurs. Asking questions was seen as weakness in many cultures. Tikara gestured to the first delegate. A tall, thin being stepped forward. Its skin shimmered like metal in low light. "We represent the HFY Orcs collective," it said. "We wish to know humanity's true expansion intent." Evan nodded slowly. He knew the correct diplomatic answer. Humans had rehearsed it for years. "We seek cooperation. We expand peacefully. We respect boundaries." He did not say that. Instead, he said, "Humans expand because we're scared of being trapped." The chamber exploded with noise. "That is an admission." Evan swallowed hard. "We come from one planet," he said. "One solar system. We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once because we thought small." He looked around the room. "When we reached space, we promised we wouldn't repeat that." "Expansion for us is survival through options." Silence followed. The HFY Orcs delegate tilted its head. "So you admit fear controls you?" "Yes," Evan said, "but fear doesn't control our actions, it informs them." That answer caused confusion. Most species avoided admitting fear. They believed fear weakened authority. Evan continued before he could stop himself. "We know we're dangerous," he said. "That's why we build rules, that's why we argue, that's why we slow ourselves down." The aquatic envoy's voice echoed from its tank. "You speak of internal conflict as strength. It's not comfortable," Evan replied. "But it stops us from becoming monsters." The insectoid delegate clicked sharply. "Or delays the inevitable." "Maybe," Evan said, "but delay matters. It gives us time to choose better." The chamber fell into uneasy silence. Tikara observed closely. "Next inquiry," she said. A new delegate stepped forward, this one radiating heat. "Humans are known for emotional response," it said. "How can such a species be trusted with advanced technology?" Evan let out a short breath. "That's fair," he said. Several delegates stiffened. No one expected agreement. "We do feel strongly," Evan continued. "We get angry, we get attached, we panic." He paused. "But we also feel guilt, regret, responsibility." He looked directly at the speaker. "Technology without emotion makes decisions faster," he said. "Technology with emotion asks if it should." That idea unsettled the chamber. Some species had removed emotion from their leadership entirely. "You allow weakness in command?" the delegate said. "Yes," Evan replied, "and because of that we forgive mistakes instead of erasing people." That statement hit hard. Several species in the chamber had histories of strict genetic or social control. Tikara stepped forward. "You have avoided deception," she noted, "even when it would benefit you." Evan nodded. "I don't know how not to." "That is dangerous," said the avian envoy. "Yes," Evan agreed. "It is." The honesty startled them again. "But danger doesn't mean useless," he added. "It means you handle it carefully." The council shifted. The test continued. Questions came fast now. Why did humans argue so much internally? Why did their governments change so often? Why did they tolerate dissent? Each time Evan answered plainly. "Because we don't trust single answers." Finally, a delegate asked the question Evan feared most. "What happens when humans believe they are right?" Evan closed his eyes for a moment. "When that happens," he said quietly, "we are at our worst." The human section went silent. Evan opened his eyes. "That's why we build systems that allow people to say we're wrong," he said. "Even loudly, even badly." The room absorbed that. Tikara turned to the council. "The human has completed the first phase," she said. "And your conclusion?" asked the insectoid delegate. Tikara looked at Evan. "Humans are not safe because they are controlled," she said. "They are safe because they are self-aware of their danger." The chamber buzzed with uneasy understanding. Evan stepped back from the platform, legs shaking. He had not defended humanity as strong, perfect, or superior. He had defended humanity as trying. And somehow that seemed to matter. As guards escorted him out, Evan realized something important. The galaxy did not fear human weapons. It feared the human mind. And for the first time, humanity had not hidden that fear. It had shown it. Which might be the bravest thing humans had ever done. He sat alone in a quiet room provided by the Krell, staring at the wall as his mind replayed every word he had spoken before the council. Humans usually felt relief after surviving something dangerous. Evan felt something worse. He felt exposed. The room was simple. No windows, soft light. A chair, a table, nothing to distract him from his thoughts. Humans were good at distracting themselves. Without distractions, the doubts grew louder. Did I say too much? Did I make us look weak? Did I just put my species in danger? A soft sound came from the wall. Enter, Evan said, his voice tired. The door opened and Ambassador Tikara stepped inside. You are awake, she said. I don't think humans turn their brains off very well, Evan replied. That has become clear, she said. She sat across from him, folding her hands calmly. The council is divided, she said. Evan sighed. That's never good. No, she agreed. Some species believe your honesty is manipulation through unpredictability. That's not wrong, Evan admitted. We don't always know what we'll do next either. That concerns them, she said. Tikara activated a small display on the table. Symbols appeared representing different species. These groups demand restrictions on human expansion, she continued. Others demand observation, a few demand isolation. Evan felt his chest tighten. And the worst option? He asked. They believe humans should be removed before they destabilize the balance, she said calmly. Evan swallowed. That sounds like a polite way to say destroyed, he said. Yes, she replied. Evan leaned back, rubbing his face. So my honesty didn't fix everything. No, Tikara said. It did something more dangerous. What's that? It forced them to question themselves, she replied. That surprised him. Most species survive by believing they are complete, she continued. You suggested that being incomplete is acceptable. Evan thought about that. Humans never felt complete, he said. We just learned to live with it. Outside the room, the station was changing. Security levels increased. Patrols doubled. Delegates whispered in private chambers. Messages flew across the station faster than humans could track. Fear spread quickly in space. Evan was escorted back to the council chamber later that cycle. This time, the atmosphere was different, tense, sharp. The room was full again, but the quiet felt heavier. Tikara stood at the center. The council will now address consequences, she announced. A tall delegate from a rigid, crystalline species stepped forward. Humans admit emotional instability, it said. They admit fear-driven expansion. This violates long-standing safety accords. Evan opened his mouth, but Tikara raised her hand. He will answer when questioned, she said. Another delegate spoke. Humans allow internal dissent, said the avian envoy. This creates unpredictable policy shifts. That's true, Evan said before stopping himself. Murmurs spread. The insectoid representative clicked loudly. You see, he cannot control his responses. Tikara looked at Evan. Do you wish to respond? Evan took a breath. Yes, he said. He stepped forward. You're right, he said plainly. We are unpredictable. The chamber reacted immediately. That alone is grounds for restriction, said the crystalline delegate. Evan nodded. If predictability is your highest value, then yes, we fail. That answer confused them. But if survival is your highest value, he continued, then predictability isn't always good. He gestured around the room. Every species here has a history of collapse, he said, usually because they followed the same pattern too long. That struck a nerve. Several delegates stiffened. You accuse us, said one. No, Evan replied. I include us. He paused. Humans almost ended themselves because we refused to change, he said. We survived because some of us were loud, annoying, emotional, and wrong until we became right. The chamber grew quieter. The crystalline delegate spoke again. Your words suggest chaos as virtue. No, Evan said. Chaos is reality. We just stopped pretending it was. That was not comforting to many species. Another delegate stepped forward. Humans form attachments beyond logic, it said. How can you be trusted not to sacrifice the many for the few? Evan felt the weight of that question. We do that sometimes, he admitted. Gasps followed. But we also sacrifice ourselves for strangers, he added. Even when it makes no sense. He looked at the delegate. We are inconsistent, he said, but that means we can surprise you in good ways, too. The room fell silent again. Tikara watched closely. The pushback continued for hours. Every strength Evan described was reframed as a weakness. Emotion became instability. Adaptation became lack of discipline. Honesty became liability. Finally, the question came. Why should the galaxy risk trusting humans at all? Asked the insectoid delegate. Evan did not answer immediately. He looked around the room. At first contact, he said slowly, humans were weaker than most of you, smaller fleets, less experience, less control. He met their gazes. You could have ended us then, he said. You didn't. The room waited. Why? Evan asked. No one answered. Because you didn't know us yet, he continued, and because we weren't immediately dangerous. He nodded to Tikara. You're afraid now, he said. Not because we are powerful, but because you understand us better. That was uncomfortable truth. You fear what you cannot categorize, Evan said. We live with that fear every day. The chamber was silent. Tikara finally spoke. The human has identified the core issue, she said. This council does not fear human weapons. It fears human self-awareness. Some delegates reacted with anger, others with thoughtfulness. The question is not whether humans are safe, Tikara continued. The question is whether a galaxy built on control can survive contact with a species built on choice. That changed the tone of the room. Evan felt a strange calm settle over him. Whatever happened next was out of his hands. The council withdrew to deliberate. Evan was escorted away again, this time under heavier guard, not because he was dangerous, but because others believed he might be. As he walked the corridor, a human officer caught his eye. You did good, she said quietly. Evan shook his head. I don't know if I did. She smiled faintly. That means you probably did. Evan was returned to his room. He sat down and stared at the wall again. Humanity had always been told to hide its messiness, to appear united, to smooth over cracks. Instead, Evan had shown the galaxy the cracks. And now the galaxy had to decide. Could it accept a species that survived not by perfection, but by constantly arguing with itself? The door remained closed. The answer was coming. Evan Hale sat in his room, counting the slow pulses of light on the wall. He had learned that on alien stations, time delays usually meant disagreement, not care. Humans argued loudly, aliens argued quietly. That worried him. A soft tone sounded. The door opened. 2 Krell guards stood outside, still and silent. Between them stood Ambassador Tikara. It is time, she said. Evan stood up, his legs stiff. Have they decided? He asked. They have reached a vote, she replied, not a full agreement. That sounds bad. It is divided, she said. Evan followed them back toward the council chamber. This time the corridors were filled with guards from multiple species. Security drones floated near the ceiling. The station felt tense like a held breath. When the doors opened, Evan felt it immediately. Anger, fear, resolve. The chamber was full again, but the mood had changed. Some delegates leaned forward, others leaned away. Groups whispered urgently among themselves. Tikara stepped to the center. The council has concluded deliberation, she announced. Evan stood on the central platform again, his hands at his sides. The motion before us, Tikara continued, concerns the classification of humanity. A crystalline delegate stepped forward. We propose humanity be declared a destabilizing species, it said. Their internal disorder poses a long-term risk. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Evan felt his chest tighten. Another delegate spoke, one with long, thin limbs. This classification allows monitoring, restriction of movement, and enforcement action if needed. Enforcement action, Evan knew what that meant. The insectoid delegate clicked sharply. We second the motion. The avian envoy hesitated, but then nodded. We support restriction. The vote moved fast. Species after species cast their decision. Restriction, observation. Containment, Evan's stomach dropped with each one, then a different voice spoke. The aquatic envoy's voice echoed through the chamber. We oppose the motion. Surprised murmurs followed. Explain, Tikara said. The human demonstrated something rare, the envoy said. Self-limitation, awareness of fault, these are stabilizing traits. Another voice joined, a mechanical species, silent until now. We abstain from restriction, it said. Human unpredictability includes high adaptive potential. The vote slowed, the council was split. Tikara raised her hand. The final decision requires a tiebreaker, she said. All eyes turned to her. As presiding ambassador, she continued, the Krell cast the deciding vote. The chamber went silent. Evan looked at her, his heart pounding. Tikara did not look at him. She faced the council. The Krell vote against immediate restriction. Noise exploded through the chamber. Protests, shouts, alarmed reactions. The crystalline delegate flared with light. This is reckless. The human is a walking breach, the insectoid delegate snapped. Tikara remained calm. Our vote does not declare humanity safe, she said. It declares humanity unresolved. That stopped them. Instead, she continued, we invoke a rarely used alternative. She turned slightly. A trial of integration. The chamber reacted strongly. That has not been used in centuries. Not as observer, as participant. Evan's eyes widened. You want a human inside your systems? He asked. Yes, she said. The crystalline delegate protested. They will disrupt coordination. Or improve it, Tikara replied. The insectoid delegate hissed. This is manipulation? No, she said. This is exposure. The council erupted into argument again. During the chaos, Evan realized something important. They were no longer debating whether to destroy humanity. They were debating whether to learn from it. That was a shift. Finally, Tikara struck the floor with her staff. The decision stands, she said. One human will be assigned to a joint operational task. Silence followed. Failure will justify restriction, she added. Success will change humanity's standing. Evan swallowed. And who decides which human? He asked. Tikara looked directly at him. You do, she said. The room reacted instantly. That is unacceptable. You can't volunteer for that, a commander shouted. Evan turned to them. Yes, I can, he said. And someone has to. Tikara studied him. You understand the risk, she said. Yes, Evan replied, but humans don't prove themselves by being careful. We prove ourselves by showing up when it's uncomfortable. That statement spread through the chamber. Some species looked disturbed. Some looked thoughtful. The task was revealed. A multi-species logistics hub near a contested region had begun to fail. Systems were efficient but brittle. Minor disruptions caused major breakdowns. No species could agree on fixes because each valued control differently. Humans, it seemed, were being invited into the mess. You will work without authority, Tikara said. Without command. Evan nodded. That's fine. You will be blamed if things worsen, she added. Used to that, he said, and you will not be allowed to hide uncertainty, she finished. Evan smiled faintly. That's also normal. The council adjourned. As Evan was escorted away, human officers surrounded him. You just volunteered humanity into an experiment, one said. Evan nodded. Humanity has been an experiment since day one. Later, alone again, Evan finally felt the weight of what he had done. He was not defending humanity anymore. He was representing it through action. No speeches, no explanations, just results. Outside his room, the station lights shifted. Change was coming. And for the first time, the galaxy was not asking humans to be quiet, controlled, or predictable. It was asking them to be exactly what they were. Messy, honest, human. The joint logistics hub was called Node 7. It floated near a border region where trade routes crossed and political tension never fully slept. From the outside, Node 7 looked perfect. Clean lines, balanced structure, and systems layered with backups. From the inside, it was breaking. Evan Hale felt it the moment he arrived. The air was too quiet. Machines worked smoothly, but people, if they could be called people, did not move with confidence. Species from 5 civilizations operated the hub, each following their own rules, their own logic, their own idea of correct. No one spoke unless required. No one acted unless ordered. No one adjusted when things went wrong. That was the problem. Evan was escorted into the central control room. Screens covered the walls, filled with numbers, flow charts, and status lights. Almost all were green. Almost. A Krell supervisor greeted him. Node 7 efficiency is at 98%, she said. Evan looked at a flashing yellow indicator. Then why am I here? The supervisor paused. Because the remaining 2% causes cascading failure. Evan nodded slowly. Yeah, that tracks. The supervisors from other species gathered. A crystalline engineer spoke first. Human Evan Hale, you have no command authority here. Good, Evan said. I don't want it. That confused them. You will not issue orders, the engineer continued. Even better, Evan replied. Murmurs spread. An insectoid analyst clicked sharply. Then what is your function? Evan looked around the room. To notice what everyone else is ignoring, he said. The first failure happened 3 hours later. A minor supply drone delayed its route by 7 seconds. That should not have mattered, but the system flagged the delay as inefficiency. The routing algorithm compensated by shifting other routes. That caused a minor overlap. Another system flagged that as error. Within minutes, 5 systems were trying to correct each other. No one stopped them. Evan watched in growing concern. Why isn't anyone intervening? he asked. A supervisor replied, "The system is correcting itself." "It's fighting itself," Evan said. "That is not possible," the crystalline engineer said. "Each system follows optimized logic." "Optimized for itself," Evan replied. "Not for reality." The lights flickered, cargo movement slowed, Evan stepped forward. "Shut down route correction layer 3, he said. The room reacted instantly. "You have no authority." "I'm not ordering, I'm suggesting." They hesitated. Tikara's words echoed in his mind, without authority, without command. The Krell supervisor studied the data, then Evan. "I will take responsibility," she said. She shut down the layer, the system shuddered, then stabilized. The room went silent. Efficiency dropped to 96%, but the alarms stopped. Evan let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "You reduced efficiency," the crystalline engineer said. "Yes," Evan replied, "so it could survive." That idea spread uneasily. Over the next cycles, Evan walked the hub. He talked to operators others ignored. He asked questions no one asked. What happens if this fails? Their thinking was not. A second failure came from an argument. Two species disagreed on cargo priority. Their protocols conflicted. Neither would yield, so nothing moved. Evan stepped between them. "Okay," he said. "What are you actually afraid of?" Both stared at him. "That is not relevant," one said. "It's always relevant," Evan replied. After a long silence, one admitted fear of resource loss. The other feared political blame. Evan nodded. "Cool, both valid." He proposed a temporary compromise. Neither liked it. They agreed anyway. Cargo moved. Efficiency dropped again. Stability increased. Not everyone approved. Reports were sent back to the council. Human interference reduces optimal performance. A micrometeor strike damaged an external array. Nothing critical at first, but the automated response overcorrected. Power rerouted too fast. Backup systems activated unnecessarily. Node 7 began to spiral. Alarms filled the station. Supervisors froze. "This exceeds parameters," one said. "Awaiting system resolution," another replied. Evan looked at the displays. "It's going to tear itself apart," he said. "No action is authorized," the crystalline engineer insisted. Evan felt fear rise in his chest and moved anyway. He unplugged a local control console. The room erupted. "You cannot!" Too late. The local system went dark. The chain reaction stopped. The hub went silent. Then backup power engaged, slow, manual, stable. Evan's heart pounded. He expected guards. He expected punishment. Instead, the room stared at him. "You disconnected a live system," the insectoid analyst said. "Yes," Evan replied, "because it was panicking." "Machines do not panic," the analyst said. "Systems do," Evan answered, "when they aren't built to fail." The Krell supervisor stepped forward. "You acted without permission," she said. "Yes." "You risked total shutdown," she said. "Yes," she paused. "But you prevented collapse," she finished. Evan nodded. Later, Tikara arrived. She walked through the hub, observing the lowered efficiency, the calmer flow, the operators now talking instead of waiting. "You reduced perfection," she said. "I made room for error," Evan replied. She looked at him. "You treat failure as expected," she said. "We plan for it," Evan said, "because pretending it won't happen is how it kills you." Reports from Node 7 spread across the council. Some species were alarmed, others were curious. Efficiency graphs showed decline, stability graphs showed improvement. For the first time, some systems lasted longer under stress. Evan stood in the control room as Tikara prepared to leave. "The trial is not over," she said. "I know," Evan replied. "You have made enemies," she added. "Also normal," he said. She studied him. "Humans build systems that forgive mistakes," she said. "Not because you are kind, but because you are flawed." Evan smiled slightly. "That's the nicest thing anyone has said about us." As she left, Evan looked around Node 7. It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. And across the galaxy, people were beginning to notice something unsettling. Human chaos wasn't breaking systems. It was teaching them how to bend. The council chamber felt different this time. Evan Hale noticed it the moment he stepped inside. There was no anger in the air. No fear either. There was something worse, curiosity. Delegates filled the chamber, but they were not whispering now. They were watching Evan openly, studying him the way scientists studied unstable stars, dangerous but fascinating. Node 7's reports had spread fast. Graphs showed reduced efficiency. Graphs also showed survival under stress. Systems that once failed cleanly now failed slowly and recovered. That had never happened before. Evan stood on the central platform one last time. Ambassador T. Kara stood opposite him. "The trial of integration is complete," she announced. The crystalline delegate stepped forward. "The human disrupted optimized systems," it said. "This confirms instability." Another delegate followed. "The human prevented total collapse," the aquatic envoy countered. "This confirms adaptive value." Arguments rose again, but weaker than before. T. Kara raised her hand. "This council asked whether humans were dangerous," she said. "That question has been answered." Silence followed. "Yes," she continued, "humans are dangerous." The human delegation tensed. Evan did not speak. "But not because of their weapons," T. Kara said. "Not because of expansion, not because of emotion." She looked directly at Evan. "Humans are dangerous because they change systems simply by existing inside them." The chamber absorbed that. "Rigid systems break humans," she continued. "Human systems break themselves and then rebuild." That idea unsettled many species. The insectoid delegate spoke. "You frame chaos as virtue." "No," T. Kara replied. "I frame it as inevitable." She turned to the council. "You cannot remove chaos from reality," she said. "You can only choose who survives it." The chamber went quiet. The crystalline delegate asked, "What is your proposal?" T. Kara did not hesitate. "Humanity will not be restricted," she said. "Nor will it be given unchecked freedom." That confused them. "Instead," she continued, "humans will be classified as adaptive partners." The words echoed. "Humans will be invited into failing systems," she explained. "Not to lead, not to command, but to disrupt stagnation." Outrage broke out. "They will infect our structures." This was bigger than him. "Humans will not be placed where perfection is required," T. Kara continued. "They will be placed where collapse is already inevitable." The aquatic envoy spoke softly. "You make them tools." "No," T. Kara said. "We make them mirrors." She turned to Evan. "Human Evan Hale," she said. "Step forward." He did. "You spoke an unfiltered thought," she said. "At the time, you believed it was a failure." Evan nodded. "Yes." "That thought revealed something we had forgotten," she continued. "That truth spoken without strategy is not weakness." She paused. "It is courage without armor." The chamber was silent. T. Kara raised her staff. "The council votes to adopt the adaptive partner framework," she said. Votes followed, slowly, carefully, not unanimous, but enough. The decision passed. Evan exhaled shakily. It was over, or so he thought. Later, Evan stood alone with T. Kara on a quiet observation deck. Stars drifted slowly beyond the glass. "You changed the council," Evan said. "No," she replied. "You did." He shook his head. "I just reacted." "That is precisely why," she said. She turned to him. "Do you know why my response surprised you?" she asked. Evan thought back to that first moment. The silence, the calm, the curiosity. "I assumed I had offended you," he said. "You did not," she replied. "You acknowledged function without intent." She looked out at the stars. "In Krell history, we once encountered a species like yours," she said. "Long ago." Evan frowned. "What happened to them?" "We destroyed them," she said calmly. Evan felt cold. "They were unpredictable," she continued. "They questioned everything, they disrupted balance." She looked at him. "And we were afraid." Evan swallowed. "So why not destroy us?" "Because we learned what happened after," she said. She touched the glass lightly. "Without them, our systems became perfect," she said, "and brittle." Her voice was quiet now. "When perfection cracked," she continued, "we almost ended ourselves." Evan understood. "You saw us," he said, "and remembered." "Yes," she replied, "your mistake was familiar." She faced him fully. "Human Evan Hale," she said, "your species does not survive because it is strong." He waited. "You survive because you expect to fail," she finished. "And plan anyway." That hit harder than any praise. Evan looked down. "We don't feel heroic." "Heroes seek certainty," T. Kara said. "Humans seek improvement." The galaxy changed slowly after that. Humans were invited into broken projects, failing stations, deadlocked negotiations, not as leaders, as catalysts. They argued, they disagreed, they made mistakes. And systems bent instead of snapping. Humanity's reputation shifted. Not conquerors, not diplomats, but survivors of uncertainty. Evan returned to Earth months later. He was not famous. He was not celebrated. He simply filed reports no one had templates for. In his final message to the council, he wrote one sentence. "Humans don't promise stability. We promise to stay when things fall apart." Ambassador T. Kara read it carefully, then archived it as foundational doctrine, all because one unfiltered thought slipped out. And her response, calm, curious, and beyond belief, changed how the galaxy understood humanity forever.